Hello and welcome back to another episode of Ulumbi Podcast. In this episode, I will be speaking about consistency, mentioning some of the very possible reasons as to why a lot of people are unable to maintain consistency, and also what are some of the strategies that we can employ so as to improve our consistency. Listen to the end of this episode and treat the one condition that pulls a lot of people from being successful. This is Ulumbi Podcast, a podcast that radiates ideas of change, elevates solutions to problems, and transforms the community. Join us as we aspire youth into using their skills, knowledge, and expertise into being at their best version and making a better community. You are with me, your host, Johnson Simon. Oh yeah, welcome back. Let me clear the air very early. If you think you are the only one suffering of consistency, and then you are not, I'm also suffering of consistency. So in this episode, I have summarized some of the ways that work for me and also some of the comments that my friends have given me so as I can be improving my consistency. I've also added my internet research on consistency, so I hope it helps you if you're suffering of consistency as well. For those who do not know or are new to the word consistency, then consistency is the quality of always behaving or performing in a similar way. You harmoniously repeat something, okay, like studying every day, night, doing a certain thing in your business or your project in a certain uniformity. Some of you might be confusing consistency and habit. And then here's the difference. Consistency is conscious. You do something knowingly, while habit is unconscious. And consistency is a building block for habit. Have you ever heard of the saying that it takes 21 days to build a habit? How if I say that's not true? Recent studies have shown that it takes even less than 5 days or more than 365 days to build a habit. In the book of Cybernetics of 1960 by Maxwell Maltz, this guy was an American cosmetic surgeon, who we now call them plastic surgeons. He claimed that it takes 21 days for the patient to adjust their new physical features, the implanted ones, or if I call them the modification that have been done in the body by him, the plastic surgeon. So that's where the 21 days myth to build a habit started. But the recent studies have said that it depends on different factors to develop a habit. Some of the factors include complexity of the behavior, frequency of repetition, what we now call it consistency here, and also the individual's motivation towards the thing, and they want to build it as a habit. You can also say that I'm repeating this thing every day. Every day I repeat this thing, so it's quite normal that I have consistency. But the sum of the element might surprise you that you're not doing something consistent. Some of these might include like, when you start your day, you have nothing to do and you have not planned your day. And external events tend to drive you on how you spend your time. So you jump into something that isn't of your priority on that day. Why? Because you have not placed your priorities or never planned your day. Although you might be doing the thing that you say every day, later, after you are being driven by the external events. Also some of other elements include like you are preoccupied with tactics and short-term opportunities that you tend to lose what your priority or what's important to you because you only see 2 to 3 steps ahead. You are more of a tactician than a strategist. So tactics are made to tackle a problem or a challenge that we see it in the near future, but strategy are employed to tackle the challenge that is will reach us to success. Another thing that shows you're not consistent is you are easily disillusioned with things that used to bring you joy. For example, I have a streak of 182 days doing Duolingo every day, learning Spanish language. But before I do learn Spanish, I'm disillusioned with playing video games. So I have not prioritized what's important to me. Instead, because games give me joy and then they give me a illusion that they are important more than maintaining the consistency of studying Spanish. So those are some of the elements that shows you are not consistent or you are weak maintaining consistency. I have also outlined some of the reasons as to why most people are not able or are struggling to maintain consistency. The first one is lack of clear goals. If you want to achieve something or you want to keep doing something, and then you have to set goals that you have to achieve when doing that thing. So if you lack these goals, and then there is no way or there is no any factor that will make you to maintain your consistency. So we can easily term goals as a roadmap or checkpoints that make you to stay on track and stop wandering or losing consistency. Another thing is perfectionism. The fear of making mistakes can lead to inconsistent behavior. And this is where I stand. I'm this guy who is always trying to make perfection in the things that I do. So if you can quickly recap on the Why Ulumbi episode, and then you will notice that I've been claiming this is the trial and error episode, knowing that I want everything to be in the perfect form as I can make it. Before I have officially posted this episode of consistency, I've been trying to record it more than 5 times, recording it, trying to make it perfect. It's difficult, and that's why we always lose consistency. So instead of trying to be perfect, then aim for progress. Aim for progress. Perfection will come after you advance your progress. And the third reason is lack of motivation or interest. Most of the people say that motivation is not a thing, but doing something, starting to do, having a discipline in doing something, that's what's needed. Motivation is unreliable, it is, and isn't worth your time. However, you sometimes need motivation, so as act like a fuel for your consistency. Having the best motivation can keep you in the track of your consistency. Another factor is procrastination, and this is where most of the people lie in. They tend to delay a task by focusing on less urgent or more enjoyable activity. You can recall to when I said that people who lose consistency or lack consistency are easily illusioned with things that used to bring them joy, like video games, social medias, and that is what makes them procrastinate. If you have listened this far and you are still new to this podcast, then let's take a break as we introduce again this podcast. This is Ulumbi Podcast, a podcast that radiates ideas of change, elevates solutions to problems, and transforms the community. Join us as we aspire youth into using their skills, knowledge, and expertise into being at their best version and making a better community. You are with me, your host, Johnson Simon. We are back again, and right away we are going to know how can we overcome lack of consistency. These are some of the ways that work for me, so you can also use them, and I hope they work for you as well. The first one is identify the areas that you want to grow in. Think about relationship, education, career, extracurriculars, your finance, spirituality, and also hustles, and then write them. What I mean by saying write them is prioritize your areas, aspect that you want to grow in. The second is set up goals and plans. It's very important to prioritize your goals and work on them in a way that you do not feel overwhelmed. Set up your goals in the SMART system, that your goals should be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic or relative, and timely. Remember to keep focus on one thing at a time. As I said earlier, you have to prioritize the areas that you have to grow in, and then set goals and work one by one. The third one is remember your why. Everything that you do has a reason behind it, even if it's meaningless or silly, but that's what keeps you doing something frequently, consistently. So you have to dig down very deep to know why you want to be consistent in whatever the thing that you are doing. And then take a moment, journal it down, so as next time you can come back to a book or your notebook, read it back, and then it will act like a booster to start doing something again when you have failed multiple times. And the last one is have discipline over motivation. Yes, you quoted me well saying that motivation is important in boosting your consistency, but motivation gives you a short burst of energy to do something. Having discipline is important And if you have discipline, then you will silence the ideas of doing something or being disillusioned with things that give you joy. You enjoy doing them and leaving the thing that are urgent to you. So having discipline will help you to tackle the problem and focus on things that are urgent and very important to you. If this episode is meaningful to you, then please do not forget to follow us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Amazon Music, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more episodes just like this one. Also, do not forget to share this episode with your friends, family, and relatives to help them solve the issue of consistency. Thank you for listening to the end. Johnson Simon signing out. This is Ulumbi Podcast, a podcast that radiates ideas of change, elevates solutions to problems, and transforms the community. Join us as we aspire youth into using their skills, knowledge, and expertise into being at their best version and making a better community. You are with me, your host, Johnson Simon.